If you want to change your life, then you're going to need to change your morning routine. Hi, it's Lynn Padetti here, and in this video, I'm going to share with you my morning routine so that you can be the next millionaire. Now, if you're new to this channel, let me share with you a little brief history of myself so that it can actually inspire you, because I didn't come out born this way. I wasn't so productive and living such a habitual life. I was actually a party girl, from the age of 13, 14, I ran away from home. I was rebellious. I ended up having a kid at the age of 20, and all I knew was how to drink alcohol and party. And so I didn't really have any good habits at all. I didn't read my first book until I was in my early 20s. So prior to that, the only books I read was books from textbooks that you have to do for school. But it wasn't until in my early 20s that I opened my first business book. And even then, I didn't really habitually read a lot of books. So let's just say I had a lot of bad habits. I woke up late. I didn't really take care of my health, take care of my body, take care of my mind. Hence, I was attracting a lot of drama in my life. And so I was a broke single mum. And it wasn't until I changed my habit and really changed the way I woke up, my morning routine, was when everything started to change. So I'm going to share with you the first thing that I did in order to really change my life. Now, before I get into my morning routine, I wanted to also share that you really need to put in the hard work. If you want success in life, there is no get rich quick scheme. It really takes a lot of hustle. And I know a lot of people also don't like the word hustle. It's not all about hustle, but yeah, it actually does take a lot of grinding. You actually have to work a lot. So 10 years ago, when I decided that I was gonna take control of my life and really, pursue my dream and start a business, etc., I really had to wake up really early back then as well. So even though in the last few years was when I started really committed to waking up early, I would say that I already had to wake up early when I had to, which was when I started my business. I had to wake up early because I was working for a client who really demanded my time during the work days. And so when you're starting out, sometimes you don't have a team yet, and it's really about you selling your time for money. And so that's what I did. And then so in order to build my business, I had to wake up earlier to spend a few hours on my business, and then during the day I was working for this particular client. So I would always remember me putting in that hours, putting in that time, and if I have to stay up late to work, I did. So starting a business, wanting success, it's a lifestyle. Are you willing to put in the hard work every single day? It's almost repetitive. It almost gets boring. It's like every day it feels like a hustle, but it is. But then if you watch a few of my videos, you see that I travel a lot. So I might work hard, but I also play hard. So it's really about hustling for work, but then also having a lot of fun so that you would reward yourself after all the hard work that you do. Now, let's talk about morning routine. I would say that my life changed 10 years ago in that first year that I started committing to my mindset, lifestyle, and just stop blaming people and started to put out positive vibes. And basically, I was able to attract the man of my life, attracting a new dream, new life. So my life really changed. It can change in an instant. But in the next few years after that, I didn't really have a very structured routine. So I would say my successes was very gradual, very slow. I would have wasted many years of running my business, but not really getting the productivity and the result that I was after, because I didn't have a really good habit. I basically wake up when I feel like waking up, sometimes 8 a.m. So I remember my husband would go to work and he would kiss me good morning and I will still be in bed. And I kind of reacted to life. Rather than proactively controlling my day, I basically just woke up, check my emails, answer client emails, and then didn't really have a really structured morning routine. So I would say my results for the first few years was very mediocre. And it wasn't until I decided to really take my life, my business to another level and said, okay, I'm going to try this morning routine, like what others are saying, especially the really successful people who wake up really early. Let me try that. And so this is when I started waking up at 5 a.m. to fit in some extra time to do the things that will make my life better. For example, meditating, journaling, etc. By creating more time for yourself, you actually have more time to actually take care of yourself or do the things that can add value to your life, right? But if you don't have the time, you just can't do it. But when I woke up at 5 a.m., I quickly realized that it just didn't add any extra time. So that was when I started waking up at 4 a.m. And let's just say I basically bought myself an extra 3 hours in the morning, 2 or 3 hours, depending on what time the kids wake up. And I was able to do the things that contribute to my success. For example, I meditate every morning. So I would actually meditate, but I meditate and I depend on whether I have a lot of time or less time, but I would always meditate 2 minutes to 15 minutes. And I would journal. I'd consistently journal versus back then I was journaling here and there, but now every day I journal because I would ask myself, what do I want to achieve today? What's the focus? What do I want to feel today? How do I want to be? So it's like, I want to be present. I want to feel excited. Depending on what is happening in my day, I want to already set the intention of how I want it to feel. And then I also write my gratitude. Thank you, God, for such and such. And also I pray. I ask, request from God what it is that I would like to pray for. And so I would have a consistent day of journaling and reflecting and setting the intention. And I would also do weekly reviews. So every week I would look back at my week and go, okay, what did I achieve? What was the challenge? How could I do it different? Because you cannot underestimate how important it is to actually take audit of your day, of your week. Really seeing what did you achieve? Where did things go wrong? What can you improve? Because that's the only way that you can actually make next week better. And also, it puts you in the right mindset and positivity, because sometimes you get through a week and you feel like, I don't know what I even done. I can't remember what I did. I just felt like the week just went by. But if you take audit of what you did, you actually feel proud. Oh my God, I achieved all these things. And you just feel proud of yourself. And that means you put yourself in a really great state. And then you also get to identify if there were certain challenges, certain feelings that you have. And then the next day, I promise you, early in the morning, somehow it's like God just drops in some ideas and hints and solutions, because all of a sudden I have a solution to my problem. I'm like, oh my God, aha moment. I can't believe I've been doing this all along. I should actually stop this, or I should start this. So it's so important to journal and do it early in the morning, and kind of spending that time with God and being alone in this tranquility space that allows you to kind of receive messages from God or new ideas that come into you. So I'm going to share with you the first thing I did in order to change my life. And that is, number one, committed to change. When I realized that I had all these bad habits, I was committed, meaning I no longer believed and trusted myself in making my own decisions. I trusted the successful people. So I was relying on mentors, virtual mentors, not like real mentors that I know, like Oprah, Tony Robbins, anyone out there that I know that has the success that I want, and any habits that they suggest, I started applying. So, sometimes we hear all these habits, but we would tell ourselves, oh, nah, it works for them, but it doesn't work for me. Oh, nah, I've tried that, it doesn't work. Well, unfortunately, the number one thing you need to do is to stop believing in your own excuses, believing that you know the answer, because if you did, you wouldn't be where you are. So the first thing I did was I said to myself, I'm going to try whatever it takes, and I'm going to believe in these mentors who are telling me that you should start to wake up early, for example. And so I did it. Instead of saying to myself, oh no, it's not going to work for me, it only works for them, and my lifestyle is different, I basically ignored everything that I think of myself and just trusted in the advice that I'm being given. Recently, I started waking up at 3 a.m., which gives me even more time. And so what am I trying to say is that habits can be built and can be improved over time. So, my morning routine has changed over the years. It got better and better and better. I woke up a bit earlier and earlier, and I got more productive with my morning. It's more easy for me. So I get excited to wake up at 3 a.m. I know I still need an alarm. I put an alarm outside of my room to wake me up so that I stick to my 3 a.m. because I don't trust myself that I know what time it is. So the alarm goes off and I run there and I get it. If you're interested to learn more about how I wake up at 3 a.m. and what it takes to actually develop a waking up early habit, then check out my previous video where I share with you tips on how you can actually get yourself out of bed. But when I wake up at 3 a.m., this is a little bit nuisance, but I'm gonna share with you exactly what I do. Is that the moment I wake up, I turn off the alarm, I would then go to the toilet. And it's so interesting because I kind of have this regular bowel movement. So like every morning I would go to the toilet, so I kind of just get to flush away everything. And seriously, your body can even be developed into a habit. So my body, that means every single day I would get to do number 2. It comes out and I feel really light and free. Have you ever been constipated or couldn't go to the toilet for days, or don't know when you need to go but you feel like going, you're not? But I don't have that problem because I actually built a habit every single morning where I need to go, so I go. And then I would brush my teeth, etc. And I even put on my gym clothes, get ready to go, because after getting ready into my gym clothes, I have a scheduled workout at about 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock because I do a virtual workout with the virtual personal training program. It's amazing, by the way, check them out. It's DIY PT program, where I have a personal trainer that's on the laptop and I can just do it in my lounge room. And this has been a life changer because it just made the habit so easy. When I was going to the gym, it was harder because I had to kind of, okay, when I'm gonna go to the gym, trying to get myself ready to go to the gym, drive to the gym. And then sometimes work gets in the way and you kind of feel like, let me skip the gym because I got things to do. Ever since I've started doing my home workout, it's so easy because all I do is walk to my lounge room, open my laptop, and it's there. And there's so many different programs that I can do every day. There's a few sessions that I can choose from. So that in itself has helped me to build a morning habit of exercising. I actually get excited and want to work out for 7 days a week. I only work out 6 days a week because I want to give myself 1 day of rest, because I tend to like something so much, enjoy something so much that I kind of overdo it. But I try my best to actually resist even working out one of the days. So I get my workout done first thing in the morning, 6 o'clock, and sometimes my kids aren't even awake yet. And so there's so much that I have done. And right now I'm actually sitting in my studio, and some morning I actually get to fit in some podcast interviews where I get to interview people from locations like America, Europe, etc., because their time zone is different to Australia. So by waking up really early, I'm able to do things that normal people can't, like catching up people in a different opposite time zone, getting something like this done, which is I'm shooting a video right now and it is 5:30 in the morning. So between 3:30 to 5:30 is kind of my solid work time, right? So after I've done my journaling, meditation, I call that the self-care time, the first half an hour. The next 2 hours is my work time. So this is where I do podcasts, I do some YouTube videos, or else I do some high impact work. So things that really need me to think strategically. And so this is the most optimal time for me working, because it's not just the time that I got from not having the kids around and working, it's actually my brain is the most creative and most productive. So I get all that done. And so at 6 o'clock coming up, I will be going upstairs to go and have a coffee with my husband. So fitting in that time to spend quality time with my partner, because it's so important to have a very balanced life. It's not okay to just be working away, all about money. It's really about taking care of your mind, taking care of your body, and now taking care of your relationship. So I routinely have a coffee with my husband, I have a chat with him, and kind of build that relationship, because nothing beats love, right? Having a solid, loving relationship just gives you all the support you need to run your business, to be yourself, to do whatever you love, because you don't have to worry about how that person feels and if that person treats you wrong, because relationship to me is so important. I've been in so many bad relationships. I was a single mom, and before that I was dating around, and I know how troublesome it can be when it comes to love, to relationship. You can't even think, you can't even focus on life because you're just so heartbroken and worrying about how that person treats you. So even though I've been married for 10 years, I would treat it with so much respect, and I treasure it because I don't want my relationship to go downhill to the point that it becomes miserable. So I put the daily little dose of effort so that I have a really great relationship, which affects the productivity and results of my life. Finally, one of my tips is really that what has really changed my life is my spiritual journey. It's being aware that there is something beyond yourself. There is God out there that can see everything, can do everything, can make miracles. And the moment you commit to your success and you decide that I'm going to do whatever it takes, I'm going to be a good person, I'm going to help people along the way, I'm going to, put so much effort in my success so that I could help others. It's amazing how God just turns up and just, puts the right opportunity, the right people in place. And then every day, no matter how much success you start to get, how much miracle starts to happen, you don't get complacent and stop doing your gratitude, stop thanking God for things, stop praying for things, because this is where everything can be taken off you, right? It's like taking God for granted, thinking that now I can do life without him because, hey, I've got everything I need. But what I've done in the last 10 years is that I've consistently paid my gratitude to God, to life, and just treasure every single moment and treasure every one that I have, and just really put every effort that I have into everything that I do. And the more you do that, the more life becomes so much more fulfilled. You're not in a rush trying to get to some places, but you're actually going slow and steady, but still very solid. I don't know, if I was to describe it, I would say you're very focused, you're very determined. Yes, you want success and you're kind of like wanting to get there as fast as possible, but you're also very present. So you put a lot of effort in your relationship, you put a lot of effort in your health and fitness, you put a lot of effort into your business, but then you know that every day there's only 24 hours in a day. You kind of stop there and then you start tomorrow again. You stop there rather than constantly getting anxious, thinking too far ahead or regretting the past. It's really about living in the moment every single day. And now to wrap it up, morning routine is a morning routine. It's a routine. So you got to do the same thing every single day. And if you start to create one habit at a time, it's going to be a lot easier. So if you're brand new to morning routine, start trying to wake up a little bit earlier and then try to fit in one thing that could help you, whether it's journaling. Then you start to wake up a little bit earlier and then you add in another thing. And then you do that more and more and more. But hey, if you're interested to learn more about how to wake up early and how I even managed to wake up at 3 a.m., well, I have a video here for you. But I'd love to hear in the comments below if you have any questions for me. But until then, I'll see you next time.